Alright everybody, how goes it? Well, today's been an epic day. We've done 3 races and this is the first one that we did. This is the TV edition of the Nations race from Monza. It was a one-make race, so everybody was in the same car, which was the Lamborghini Huracan Group 4. So qualifying didn't go too well for us, as usual. Don't think I've done a good qualifying yet. But anyway, we can't remember what time we did, but it was a few seconds short of what we were doing in practice. I do remember that the practice time that I was doing should have got me up into like 5th on the grid really. I think I qualified 18th in the end on this one. Didn't go well at all. So I decided to start on the hard tyre and get that stint out of the way, whilst the majority of the others I assumed would be starting on the mediums. So again, we're going for the opposite strategy to what hopefully everybody else was doing. So there, oh yeah, 18th. 15th in the room, 18th on the grid. So as you know, Monza, famous for its first corner antics. So being right back here, I didn't know what was going to happen. There we go, lights turn green. So the plan was just to stay in these guys' slipstream as much as possible, and if we could make positions up, that would be great. But I knew that they were probably all on the medium tyres and it was going to be difficult for me. As you can see, there was some carnage there. I got a couple of taps from behind and almost spun me around there, but managed to keep hold of the car. So it was just a point of working our way through the pack really. But with these all cars being the same and the performance being the same, then you relied on people making mistakes, or you had to be literally the odd 10th faster here and there, otherwise you weren't going to get past anyone. So a lot of it turned into a bit of a slipstream race really. And you can see the penalties that were being handed out there, left, right and centre. I got forced onto the grass there, I didn't have anywhere to go. Well, the reason we lost 2 positions there was because we were pushed wide. A lot of people were going wide on the last corner and the first corner. That was the areas where people were outbraking themselves really and running wide, and that was your opportunity to move up. So I knew there was points to be had, because we were all pretty compact really. So that's the one good thing about a one-make race. You do end up not getting too spread out. There's opportunities, but those opportunities are hard to take because of the same in performance. You rely on people getting penalties and making mistakes. But I was quite happy really in possible knowledge that the majority of these guys are probably on the medium tyre, and the fact that I was able to keep up with them and they didn't just zoom off and leave me in the dust, I was quite happy with coming from 18th, getting up to 12th on the hard tyre and being able to keep with these guys. I never understood that penalty there. I still don't really know what it was for. luckily the car behind had one as well, so I knew he wasn't going to be able to get past. Somehow he managed to get up the inside of me. And I did get a tap from the French guy behind coming through that last few corners there. It's actually quite a nice car to drive. This is the Group 4, it's the Group 3 version of this, that's the one that tries to kill you. But this is, yeah, it's quite nice to drive. There's plenty of positions just in front of us there to be had. So coming from 18th up to 9th, at this point in the race, I was quite happy we were doing okay. I still can't really figure it out. I brake exactly at the same point on that, coming up to that corner, so I'm not really sure. It might have been because of the slipstream, I don't know. So this was lap 5, and in hindsight I wish I'd have stayed out for another couple of laps really, because there was nothing wrong with the tyres, they still had plenty of grip in them. So now I had 10 laps to do on the mediums, which in theory was asking a lot for of the tyres, really. But it's what I'd done in practice, and it seemed to be a good strategy. But the way the race panned out, I wish I'd have stayed out till at least lap 7, possibly lap 8, before I pitted for the mediums. And the fuel wasn't an issue. I think it was only ×2 the fuel, so it was just tyres you had to manage. And plus these cars are 4-wheel drive, so they do eat the fronts quite badly really. So I did have the brake bias at +4 to try and counteract that a bit. I was thinking about going for the move here, but I didn't have the slipstream, so I couldn't, and then that guy decided to pull out, so I had nowhere to go. But I was hoping they were going to start fighting and give me an opportunity to move up. That was quite a good overtake. I quite enjoyed that one. Managed to get right up the inside of him and kept it clean as well. It's a good shot, that, isn't it? I love that shot. So I was hoping the way this was going to pan out that the majority of the cars in front haven't pitted yet, which is why we're right at the back. Because remember, we came into the pits, we were 9th. So I was hoping we were going to more or less get that position back by the time everyone had pitted. But I was aware of the fact that, you know, being stuck behind these guys, who were probably on a different tyre to me, was holding us back a bit, so we were losing time, really. So clinging on to that 9th position was starting to ebb away. So now we're in a little bit of clean air. Try and push on a little bit more. We noticed the guy in front had a penalty, and then I unfortunately got a penalty. I think that was for running a little bit too wide on that last corner. The other guys are starting to pit now. We'll start moving up a couple of positions. So they're probably coming out on the hard tyre. So I got a tap from the left hand side there, but luckily it didn't upset the car and I managed to hold on to it. Unfortunately we ran a bit wide there, a bit too deep into that chicane. So I sort of out-braked myself. So I'll serve this penalty now. It's not too bad an area, as you can see. I've lost a position there, but the guy that overtook me hasn't got really that far in front of me. It slows you down obviously, but it doesn't really affect you that badly. Running a bit wide there, the tyres were starting to show signs of wear. So I was getting a little bit worried. It was at this point that I realised that I had come into the pits a little bit too early. So I was hopeful here that we were going to more or less get back in the top 10. We seem to be progressing fairly well. I think if we hadn't been held up, you know, the 3 or 4 laps ago, we'd when the tyres were fresher, we'd probably be in 11th now, 11th or 12th. And of course I didn't know whether these cars in front still had to pit or not. We could have been doing a last minute dash on the hard tyres. So we'll get rid of that penalty now. tyres were starting to... They'd really had enough. Could have done with some new tyres really, but I knew that I couldn't pit. I had to just carry on with what I've got. If I'd have pitted, then for new tyres, the race would have definitely been over. And there were still cars in front that I thought did have to pit still, so there was still a chance of a few positions to be gained from that. So I knew I just had to try and keep it smooth, and hopefully the tyres would hang on, but you'll see from some of the cornering coming up in the next few laps that it was quite hard to hang on to the car in the corners. Especially this one, which was it's quite a fast sweeping corner. Tended to get a fair bit of understeer. So that was an example of it. Went a little bit too deep because I didn't have any grip in braking, which forced myself wide on the exit of the chicane. So I was really struggling on tyres now, purely because of the mistake of me pitting about 2 laps earlier, and I really should have. Somehow we ended up on our own here for quite a long time. I don't know how we managed to lose the cars in front and the cars behind. We just ended up on our own. But when everyone's on different strategies, it's the sort of thing that happens. But at this point I was still hoping that there was cars that still needed to pit. a sudden you catch somebody up. So you can see just a bit further down the road there, now that we've caught these guys up, there's still positions to be had. And we're getting towards the end of the race now, so people were going to start fighting with each other, causing trouble for each other possibly, which would either slow them down or send themselves to Narnia, which hopefully we will be able to take advantage of. Here comes an easy overtake. That's us up into 14th. We needed a top 10. That was the goal for the race, to get a top 10. From where we started, back in 18th. The top 10 was all I was hoping for. I think that was the best we could achieve. So these tyres are starting to give up. I'm starting to run a bit too wide now because I'm having to push. And that was it. That was the end of the race. So we ended up finishing 13th. So we got taken out a couple of times. Pitted 2 laps earlier than I really should have. So we did make a couple of mistakes ourselves. So that contributed to us not finishing in the position, well, in the top 10, where I think we could have. So it did give us a negative DR, but it is what it is, and we will just have to learn from those mistakes. Main lesson is we need to get better at qualifying. Anyway, next one that's coming up is the Manufacturer's TV edition. Thanks all for watching, guys. I shall catch you all in the next one. I'll be seeing you.